Let me know when we're ready. Okay.
As you're ready. Gotta start recording.
Okay. Thank you.
The one to the right, the planning board meeting with the red there, you're playing this, I think we're hearing us echo. Thank you. Alright. Now we're shooting. One day I'll.
Thank you. So we do have one application this month for consideration. This is an application that's been on the agenda for a couple months. The County Management LLC, Healy Avenue Site Plan Review, 2024. Alicia, I know you and your department have just gone through a review. Perhaps you can give us the highlights
Sure.
for discussions.
So for this, it's the Dukowski Management LLC, Healy Avenue Site Plan 2024, which has been moving along kind of concurrently with the subdivision plan for this site, this parcel, and the parcel to the south. And just a quick update on the subdivision, I'm waiting for the final electronic plan to come in to our office. It just had a few minor tweaks that needed to be made to it. And then that should be moving forward hopefully to record. But our last planning board meeting, the board did provide a final approval for that. So for this site plan, I would like to turn the board's attention to the staff report dated May 20th. And the staff comments. First off, there's department comments that staff have received. The main one that would still be outstanding is the 911 office comment requesting that the 10 PV Ave address reference get switched to 14 PV Ave for emergency services purposes. And then that is reflected again in the staff comments. Within the staff report, there are comments 1 through 17 that staff had previously provided and then updated as we moved along. And you'll see updates of 5/20/24 where either the comment is satisfied or recommended finding should be added to the resolution. So comments 1 through 5, we have identified that all of those have been satisfied. Comment number 6, where it's noted that a concurrent subdivision action is proposed by the applicant with the proposed setbacks, with the zoning table data for the site plan and the proposed subdivision actions are inconsistent. Staff does feel that this has largely been satisfied, but would like to add that it is that staff would recommend that the planning board condition an approval if they approve this tonight, condition their approval on this subdivision actually being recorded as well. Because if you recall, this one of the purposes of that subdivision was to provide an additional southern setback to the subject property. So, and to bring that setback into conformance and provide the space needed for parking along the southern area. So moving on from that condition, or that staff comment, comments 13 and 14 have been updated to state that the conditions were satisfied. And then comment number 15, we have added a recommendation to add a finding to the resolution. So it is recommended that the planning board issue a finding that the building proposed to be converted meets all requirements of Schedule 2 for R2 zoning, pending determination from the building inspector regarding the pre-existing status of the front yard and the conversion of the non-dwelling structure is permitted under section 360-29A2 of the zoning code. So staff is aware that the applicant applied for 2 variances for this property and had received them. Staff has received a copy of the zoning board of ZBA minutes from April 15th with the resolution included. In addition to this finding, staff would also, and this would be an additional recommendation, the board may choose to request that the applicant add a note to the plat where the front setback and the building coverage are shown to be insufficient, and state that variances have been received and state the variance date. So all of that goes along with the staff note number 15. Note 16, staff has deemed that comment to be satisfied, and then 17 is fairly simple. It's recommended that the planning board condition approval of site plan upon satisfaction of any review comments provided by other city departments in that. So that circles back to the 911 address and comment in the department review comments. And in your packets, we have, after the staff report, we have a draft resolution that calls out the secret action that was approved in the previous meeting for this review. We have an email confirming DOT's acceptance of drainage running on this property, running towards their existing ditch. And they found no issue with it because the applicant is reducing the overall impervious surface, and they appreciate that. Next, we have an engineering report letter from PAS, Engineering Sciences and Environmental Sciences and Engineering Services, to provide the pre-existing estimated stormwater sewer flows, and then the proposed, the pre-existing sewer flows, and then the estimated proposed flows with the proposed addition of the 16-unit apartments, to state that there essentially would be no increase in sewer flows, thereby not negatively affecting the stormwater sewer capacity, which has been a major concern of DVCs and a growing concern through time. So we have that letter on file, and then response determination that John Rupp wrote and submitted to DVC out of his retirement. What is not included in this packet is the quick response we received, that John Rupp received from his letter from DVC, saying that they had no concern and concurred with his determination. I do have that on file in the applications folder, the electronic applications folder, and I'm happy to bring that up. And then next we have a letter from a report from Lakeside Engineering discussing the sewer line capacity to ensure that the existing private sewer line has the capacity to handle these flows beyond just what was reported by CAS. That Lakeside Engineering letter predates the KADS report. And then we have an overview, a narrative provided by the applicant from March 14th, providing a little additional information regarding the screening of the southern property boundary, the continuous hedges along that property line, and some other details, including curb cut and site drainage. And then the map of the sewer line, the existing Healy Ave to Hogan sewer line. And we have tracked easements to cover the private sewer line that goes currently between 10 Healy Ave and 9 Healy Ave, both properties owned by Mr. Zukowski, but under two different LLCs. So he drafted an easement to ensure that there would be access and the ability to maintain the sewer line in perpetuity, no matter who owns this property. So with all of that, the conclusion is that the majority of the conditions have been satisfied, and staff would recommend approval upon the conditions. And outstanding details mentioned.
Any questions the board have? Is the information summarized by staff?
No, thank you, very thorough.
So the one question I have, I apologize if I missed it.
Sure.
Within comment number 1 from the town of Plattsburgh, they talk about the parking within the city's right of way, which
Right.
I was looking in the plans is mute, but it's in the city's right of way. So
Correct.
how does the city plan to handle that condition?
So I have had discussions with DPW. Currently, the line striping is faded, not as faded as other striping throughout the city. But I have discussed it with DPW, and it would be in alignment with the town's recommendations as well, and in alignment with Complete Streets, but to do a work order essentially and have that restrict as parallel parking rather than angled parking as it currently exists.
So I would assume they follow some of the same street conditions similar to not Cogan, the street adjacent to where
Grace Ave has a curb cutout where they have trouble parking in front of some of their residences. It's not a one-to-one comparison, but it is fairly similar. And then there's another cutout south in front of one of the city buildings near there that also has a bump out and it's parallel parking versus angled where the cars would be back in.
Okay. So essentially the city's gonna take the lead and actually restrict that area as parallel.
Yeah. Unless the board has any further recommendations or requests on that.
I think it would be good to add that into I don't know if it's a condition, but the outline in there that the city has identified that they're in agreement with the town of Plattsburgh's recommendations, that the city is going to restrike and implement that accordingly.
I guess I'm curious, is the on-street parking calculated as provided parking?
I think that's something probably to bring up
Yeah.
at the meeting.
It is not,
Would you know?
it's only
So-
on-site parking is included in the parking.
So I guess my question is the overriding jurisdictions. We're asking him to put it on his site plan. It's not on-site parking, it's on-street parking, but then we're asking the applicant to identify it.
I'm not asking him to put it on the site plan, I'm asking our staff to identify within our understanding within our meeting that the city is going to implement that.
That makes sense.
So incorporate it into the meeting notes.
Correct.
It doesn't have to go into the resolution. It
Yes.
doesn't go on, because it's not the applicant's responsibility. But
Correct.
just so we have it documented.
And it's also that's our understanding of how the town of Plattsburgh implemented it, that they make our planning board is addressed.
Yeah. So that's
Okay,
perfect.
and when we go live, which in another 2 minutes, if you all as a board could remind staff to add that as a note in our meeting notes, that would be appreciated.
Yes. Good explanation.
Okay.
And that's another thing that I did between meetings that reviewed with planning staff during our motions, any motions that make it forward. Yeah, those that are specific of what our what we to outline that back to staff. And ensure that they have those notes and they have it correct. Make a second and consider their vote.
Yeah, that would be appreciated, because otherwise there's a bit of guesswork on our end on what this specific language is, which we try to fill in, but at the same time, it should really be in the words as fast as possible.
I understand not wanting to go back and watch the recordings.
No, we do that. We do that. Sometimes also the recordings, the audio is the best.
Yeah.
So, and the text, the audio to text is really.
Yeah.
Is there any other board questions, comments in regards to the application? If not, since we do have an additional 10 minutes, as far as other business goes, is there any
Yeah,
other business to discuss?
I don't have a lot that I was gonna bring up, other than we're targeting, Tuesday, June 18th for our next zoning update, Smart Code Plattsburgh, zoning update public workshop. And that should be a great one, to be at, that and a comprehensive one, that should go over all of the proposed changes to zone districts, the downtown commercial business districts, RC1, RC2, hopefully. It all depends on how much work the consultants can put together between now and then, because it's quite a bit of territory that we covered. And industrial zone district changes, some slight shifts. We're not proposing to take away any industrial property, but to kind of finesse some of the fringes of it, to help bring long-standing, non-conforming uses into better conformance. And that will help to kind of blend the edges of the industrial districts a little bit. And then we also have a proposed change on the eastern side of the RH zone district to, I won't give all the spoilers away. Among other things. And then, the consultants with a lot of, time and hours from PAC team members have been working on a really slick zoning use table that has all of the uses of the zones across the top, and then, might have it backwards, and allowed uses across the other side, and then the types of permitting levels and requirements as the dots in the middle. So we're pretty excited for that. Yeah, and then our next, Jim, I didn't tell you about this, but our next PAC work session, not the full workshop, we're gonna target discussing zoning at Reeves Lane, because that's largely in zone right now. And then we do have a PAC workshop, I think that's on the 11th, proposed for the 11th. So that's the full PAC, hopefully. And that will be virtual. We have a public component if the public wanted to listen in, they can. They just can't participate. And we're proposing an update specific to council on the 13th. So
13th of
June, yeah, so June's gonna be busy for zoning updates.
I think the committee at this point is needed through every district.
At this point, I'm pretty sure every district with the exception of Reeves Lane. We've touched on everything.
Basically draft use tables for all districts.
Yeah. As many uses as we could think of that would be applicable to the city. We even looked at dog pounds, which I don't think was an allowed use before or discussed use in the definition. Updated our definition section. And just worked to bring things into alignment. There's so many confusion straight there.
We have used lane identified as a,
We have not yet had a full
well, but it's
conversation.
identified within the zoning regulation.
It's not identified since it was annexed, it hadn't ever been assigned zoning. So there was a master plan that created the annex,
Right,
that was discussed, but that zoning, sunset after a certain period of time.
does that encompass the Norco property or does it go beyond it?
It does encompass that, but so basically the western boundary of Reeves Lane is the highway, and then southern is essentially the river. North would be river, and then the east is kind of seamless. I can't think of,
Champagne, Champagne's the property I need.
yeah.
So every, the land that the environmental treatment plant,
Compost.
The,
compost plant,
yeah, that's included in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's, well,
So, and will be taken into consideration. Yeah. So, it's pretty exciting. And the consultants say that we're on target to start formulating final draft documents in June. We'll see if that happens. I don't want to jinx it. But that would be fantastic. And then the next target would be to have a full package, hopefully by sometime in August. If we're still moving forward.
Do you know when and if they were going to look at subdivision ordinances?
I think that was behind the scenes with Zone Co, and they're going to make a recommendation, but I don't have a specific date, and we should bring that up in our next meeting.
Okay, so
Yeah,
they're basically drafting the recommendation.
I believe so.
I know it's discussed like administratively, like the administrative requirements of it have been discussed in draft, but as far as
Keep reminding me.
the update, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sort of figured that they would get to that as, you know, once they sort of solidified it leave that they jump into that component.
Yeah, and we also should touch on deal with that a little bit more.
So, yeah, those are two things that really, maybe administratively we'll discuss, but not updates, changes. Okay,
Anything else to me in our last minute?
I don't think so, other than I noticed that everybody, you all got
Yes.
calendars, thank you.
Yes, and apologies, tonight's meeting, I think it originally was in our first proposed calendar, it was scheduled for May 20th. And then we realized there was a conflict there, and that would have been a super short month, so it got moved to May 28th, but we didn't update it on our web page. So, so just thinking of another calendar.
Thank you. Okay, it is 6 o'clock, we're still streaming
We are,
correctly? Okay,
yeah.
since 6 o'clock, I'll call the planning board meeting to order for Monday, May 28th, 2024. We can all rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Jim Abdallah,
Yes.
Rick Perry,
Yes.
Andy Newster. Yes. Tom Castro,
Yes.
Harley Leary. Yes.
Thank you. We do have one application on the agenda tonight. It's Planning Board Application 24-02. Project name Zukowski Management LLC, Healy Avenue Site Plan 2024.
Do you want me to carry it away?
And I believe staff has a presentation for us.
So they thought.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, after this presentation, there should be a public hearing. Our agenda item 24-02 is for a site plan review of Zukowski Management LLC site plan 2024 for property address 10-14. Again, we have the agenda item. The request is to convert a commercial use into a 16-unit low-rise multifamily residential use at 10-14 Keeley Avenue, which is aligned with Tech Map parcel 207.17-5-2 with related site improvements, including regrading, parking area resurfacing, and site lighting. It's again located at 10-14 Keeley Ave. It's zoned R2. The owner is here with us this evening, Ed Zukowski to represent Zukowski Management LLC. The planner is Paul Lohner of Lohner Drafting Services, and the engineer is proposed to be Lakeside Engineering. The highlighted parcel on this map is the subject property, zoned R2 again, and you see it just abutting the town of Plattsburgh boundary line and just south of the B2 zone district. This is the existing building and the building frontage with the approximate eastern boundary line showing. And then the approximate area of the public right-of-way on the street parking, which is not being included in the total parking count. Here is the backside of the existing building, pre-construction, and the parking area. The north side and the south side. So there's a lot of pavement there now. And here is an overview of the that's just a relic. That might be an internet issue. We might hear more of this. So sewer line map detail to the right. Just notice that the north arrow is a different position. It's pointing to the right instead of directly up. So you just have to change your orientation when you're going from one map to the other. But the detail shows the sewer line alignment from moving from 9 Healy Ave to connect to the sewer manhole at 10 Healy, directly across the road, from 10 Healy to 9 Healy, and then continuing on to Kogan Ave. And then it also calls out sewer line easement. And I'm happy to blow this up and open a larger map if you would like. You also have the hard copy map in it should be the second page after the index page in your documents. Is everybody good with this, or do you want me to give you some more time?
Good.
Okay. And then this, again, page S2 of the site plan to show the parking layout and the vegetative improvements to reduce the impervious area, and including sidewalk extensions and crosswalks to connect the sidewalks at either end of the property across the entrances and exits. Along the southern property boundary, you'll see a new addition of a hedgerow to provide a buffer between the parking and the southern, the parcel across the southern property boundary. Any questions with this or comments?
Is the sidewalk there on S2, is that the red line at the property line?
No, it's actually,
Because it's all paved currently, right, coming up to the street? Oh, there it is, okay, thank you.
yes, sorry, I apologize. So it's the green, it's a hatch area, and it does go across the property line. So there's an on-site sidewalk that connects to an off-site sidewalk, but essentially connects end to end.
Okay. But it's essentially, it's the owner's responsibility, the sidewalk is here, not the city's.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions here, details you'd like to look at?
The hedgerow on the south property line, that is due to the close proximity of parking to the property line.
Correct. And it was a recommended comment in the previous meeting. Good with that? Go on to the next one. So this is just proposed site elevations, disturbed area, essentially a grading map on the left and showing the direction of drainage. As you may recall, in the previous review meeting, there was a discussion about the drainage on the west side of the existing building, flowing to the DOT drainage ditch. That's why we have the letter in our packet from DOT, providing approval for drainage to be directed that way. And then the disturbed area map is just basically on the bottom right of the map. And the total disturbed area is just under an acre. Any questions or comments here? And then this is a copy of the lighting plan that was provided as well. So all of these are requested to be in the final engineered submission. I did add just the lighting details, so you just have to flip back and forth for the type of lights that we'll be using. So X22-150, and they'll have 5 of these. They're proposing 5 of these, 1 in each corner of the building. 2 actually at the northwest corner that appears. And then 34 of the Burris 17 FA30 lights. And they're proposing to place these on either side of the doorways. But the illumination map shows that the lumens will not go past the property boundary and will reduce as the further out we go. And then these are just added to show, so these, the applicant actually provided these maps back to us. They're from the city infrastructure maps showing where the existing private sewer line is. And you have copies of these in your packets, but this is just a blown-up version to show, to provide a better orientation, highlight where the actual line is of interest and show the connection between the Keeley Ave and Coben sewer line. So 10 Keeley Ave is just over here if you see the cursor, and then the proposed sewer will connect to this manhole here, which will connect with this private sewer line. 10-inch RCP. And then that connects with the city sewer at Coben. So a summary of the department review comments. NLD has requested that electric load calculations be provided to them ahead of development and upon approval of the site plan. The engineering report for water and sewer services was provided by CAS and then forwarded on to DEC with a proposed determination, which they accepted and signed off on. So a sewer line extension is not required. For private sewer considerations, we do have their proposed easement and language that the board may want to have provide a condition that the easement is recorded concurrent with this, recorded concurrent with the approval, after the approval of the site plan. And the line mapping has been provided for the proposed easement. 911 addressing, it's recommended that the final site plan, that the engineer provides 14 Healy Ave is the final address. And then area variances have been achieved at the April 15th zoning CBA meeting. And overall, this is seen as an excellent reuse, adaptive reuse property. I believe staff and I believe the planning board just wants to commend the applicant on their efforts. The summary of additional referral request, DOT did sign off on the ditch as we discussed. The EC reviewed the engineering report. Maybe that's a duplicate slide. Everyone, yeah. It has been, this has been referred to County Planning Board, and they approved by 6-0 vote on 4/6/24. Summary of staff review comments. So it's recommended that the plan include a stamped engineer signature by a licensed engineer, architect, or surveyor. Previous comments have been predominantly satisfied. However, as we discussed and noted in the staff report, there still are a few remaining comments that should carry forward. Recommended conditions by staff are that regarding conversions and satisfied staff department comments. We recommend seeing staff comments 9C and 17A, and that 15A is mostly satisfied for ZBA minutes. And they have provided the minutes and we've saved them to the record. And additional recommendations, any approval of the site plan should be contingent upon the applicant reporting the 24-01 custom management final approved subdivision plan. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Zakowski, do you have any additional information?
One little thing, we did change the elevation of the project. You don't have that or no?
You know what? I apologize. That did not get included. I can bring it up though.
Okay.
Thank you. So that building elevations were included.
Yeah.
I do believe it's in our.
It is in our
package as well.
Yeah, just so you're aware of it. Yeah, the colors won't change, and the body of the building, the mansion is under now on top, and along with a truss roof. And not very high, about 10 foot in the center. Shingles.
I think it's
Now, the one, you do show it as a metal.
No, we're not gonna do metal though.
You're not going to do metal. So
We, going over with the contractor and so forth, and all the vents that we have to put up and out, we decided that the shingles would be much easier and so forth, the penetrations. We want the same color, it'd be like a charcoal gray, dark gray, go with the line of gray in the building and so forth.
So if we just recognize that as a charcoal gray architectural shingle?
Yeah.
That's factored in. We should note that as a change.
Other than that, any questions on it? We're just anxious to get started with it. I haven't been able to do anything because I can't do any contracts until I have no commitments. I can't, until I have my approval here, so it's been.
I guess the only things I noted here during discussion was easement recording and subdivision recording, and
The
then
easement's
sort of.
been recorded, and I gave her Alicia the copy of the recording with the county.
Okay, so no, then we have the subdivision recording, which I believe it was approved last month, but your surveyor is probably coming back with the final plan to get it signed.
Yeah, I thought you turned everything in.
No, I don't have the final copy yet. There were a few minor, revisions that still needed to be
I
made.
know you're having put the table, the zoning table on it.
Mhm.
Pretty sure you did it coordinated with the guys downstairs.
I did receive confirmation that he coordinated with the building department. I needed the building department to refine their language, so it was specific to the subdivision and not just a development at large.
So in the end, the planning department would be waiting for his final stamp plan, meeting the conditions so that it can be,
Correct.
chair can sign it. Is that essentially where we're at?
Yeah, what we request is that an electronic copy gets submitted first, which we have received an electronic copy, it just wasn't sufficient. So I'm still waiting for Mark to circle back.
So in your timing, I mean, it's just one of those, another thing to, the zoning variance, if we can get that note added to the plan specifically referencing the exact variance in the final plans. That's just another note for your engineer to add. I want to recognize that it was discussed in the pre-meeting that the city DPW is considering taking care of the restriping of the on-street parking.
That would be, it's not accepted yet by DPW, it would have to come through the planning department. So the planning department will request it.
Will
And
request it.
has had conversation
Okay, so, but
with the
that's
planning staff.
in order to accommodate the town of Plattsburgh's comment recommendation, the city is going to take care of that.
Correct.
One other thing I had before any other maybe comments the planning board has is on the lighting that was pulled up on the screen. It's not necessarily in the plan, but if your engineer can add those details to the plan and then just confirm whether any kind of cutoffs or shields are required on those lights. It doesn't show on the picture there, but if they can just address that in the final plan, that'd be great.
I missed that last comment, but you'll circle back.
Just on the lighting details, if the engineer can just confirm whether those are the exact light fixture or there's actual shields or cutoffs that are on those light fixtures. Just confirmation of the final detail.
Yeah, my understanding of the lighting is those lights are higher up. They're not the outside lights by the entries and so forth. Yeah, they're just constant light for night safety.
Yep. That was my comments. Does the board have any other questions?
I have a question regarding the table that was stipulated. Is the table that we have in our packet, this is generated by staff?
This was generated by staff.
Might we share it with Mr. Zakowski, just so that he knows?
Sure, he should have a copy
You
of the
have it,
staff report
okay.
as well.
Good.
Did you have any questions regarding it?
No, I just want to make certain that he agrees with staff's finding on that.
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah, I think there's accurate.
A question for you on the electrical plan, based on any of the conversations you've already had with MLB. Is the building already heated electrically? Or was it, I guess?
Before I shelled it out?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It
Okay.
was originally built and it had that, it was 1,000 gallon fuel oil tank outside, which I sold to a contractor for $100. But they were all electric heating, air conditioning. It's gonna be electric again.
Okay,
The transformer's gonna be down, just sent down here where that little merger is on the pole.
okay,
And the meter module is on that side of the building, back.
okay. And the plan would be to continue to have the electrically heated in the future? Are you
Yes.
considering mini splits or ductless heat pumps or anything like that, or electric baseboards? straight to
Electric
existence?
baseboards,
Okay. All right.
Have you thought about putting any EV charging stations in the parking lot, if you're already ripping it up?
I didn't quite hear you. On the parking lot?
If you're already ripping up the pavement, have you thought about putting any electric vehicle charging stations in?
No.
They've
Never thought
got,
about
so, have you heard of NYSERDA?
it. I've heard of it, yeah.
They have a program called Charge Ready 2.0, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. They have an incentive for multi-unit dwellings, 10 or more connected housing units, which you meet, and at least 20 parking spaces. You can get $2,000 per charging port back. And usually a station has 2 ports, so you could get $4,000 if you put in a charging station. Just something to think about. Because if you're already digging it up and everything, if you put the lines there, it'll be much easier to try to.
Does Alicia have that in there?
I could find it.
I can send it to Alicia
Yeah.
and Alicia can
We
send
can
it.
share it out to you and include it in.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's something you can also make money off of. Because that's the big network, so you can charge the residents to charge their cars.
I have a question. Are all electrical vehicles the same plug-in? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can get adapters.
So they have to carry their own adapters?
Most cars will come with them, so that way, when they're sold to you, they have, the different adapted plugs that would go on there.
It's like
for the
USB
major
ports.
systems.
You would there's like a standard charger that you would buy, and if you talk to the people at NYSERDA, they will tell you what to get. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other comments, questions?
Been thoroughly evaluated.
Okay. Well, in that case, do you have any other comments or?
No, she just wanted to get started on it.
Okay, with that said, we do have a public hearing associated with this application. If there's, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing. Is there anybody that wants to make further comment? Anybody online?
No, but just you. Nope.
Okay.
Thank you, Carly.
If there's no one else raising their hand, I'll move to close the public hearing. And then we do have a draft site plan resolution, 24-02A. Again, we do have a couple of items that were discussed as potential conditions. If anybody would be making a motion, run through what they see as additions, that would be appreciated by staff. And in addition, if you review the draft resolution, there's 2 areas. One's a placeholder that recognizes that we agree with staff's recommendations as they've outlined. Or if there's something that a board member does not agree with, you should be specific in your motion. Same thing with the placeholder for additional comments.
Do we have a summary of the conditions?
I have some of the conditions
That's
written
what
down.
I-
Okay. Oh, are you doing it? Okay.
These are the chairman's.
I'll make a motion to approve 24-02 with the conditions. That the easement recording is concurrent with filing the application,
Final second.
the final site plan. The lighting shields, or put the lighting, more clearly on have the engineer put that more clearly on the plan. That our planning board is conditional on the approval of the subdivision being recorded. And that the plat needs to show the insufficiencies, the accepted variances, and the dates of those variances. Did I just repeat two things? Okay, and then, do we need to do 9C? The sewage one, or that's all, everything's fine?
I think 9C is that, oh, no, 9C, it is recommended that the concept satisfaction of the recommendations of 7A and 7B and for additional upon applicant applying for it. To connect, so I believe this still stands, because they're tying into the private sewage disposal and then adding, reconnecting to the city of Coconut. So because it's a change in use, even though they don't need a sewer line extension, they still need to notify DPW that they're adding additional units and flows to the line.
Okay. So the other condition is that they notify DPW of the sewage disposal.
You could just reference 9C
Okay,
if you want to.
9C. And we want to also note that the city is going to restrike the two parallel parking in front of the property, but that's not the applicant's responsibility.
City planning staff.
City staff will reach out to restrike for parallel parking in front. Did I miss it?
Do we want to know if the manager changed or is that?
Oh, yes. And that the roof is going to be charcoal gray shingle rather than Wall Street gray metal roof.
And you would like that as a condition versus a note included in the minutes?
I don't know.
I think it's probably a referral to the final, the final plan. Or the final plans that are going to be
Okay,
submitted.
yes, that's not a condition. Sorry, roof is not.
Okay, any further discussion? If not, do I have a second? Second by Ray. Roll call.
Jim Abdallah,
Yes.
Rick Perry,
I'd like to make a vote clarification. Staff did mention in our pre-meeting that this project is one of those projects that coincide with our new comprehensive plan. It's a very appropriate adaptive reuse of a decrepit building, and the project has great community value. And with that, I will, yes.
Abby Newsom,
Yes.
Tom Costa.
Yes.
Carly Leary.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
So we generally discussed other business. Is there any other item?
I just, all I have is the zoning updates, market Plattsburgh, information, and the proposed dates or tentative dates for the next series of public meetings and the full PAC workshop. So the next full PAC workshop is scheduled for June 11th right now. That would be a virtual meeting. Public is allowed to attend, but not participate. They can just listen in. That's listed under our upcoming meetings on the city's website. The next public meeting would be a proposed update to city council for the project. And that is on June 14th. Now, my memory is correct. I believe it's June 14th is the proposed date, which would be a Thursday, when the council doesn't meet. And then, actually June 13th, okay. Can you double check my calendar?
Is that presentation to the council basically information only?
They'll be able to provide feedback as well, but it's council specific. To bring them fully up to speed, some council members can't make all of the zoning workshops, the public workshops. And it's geared to be a little bit more comprehensive than the actual public workshop. Because the public workshop will come in on just the updates from last public workshop, essentially. But this would be the second council update that we've provided.
Will there be actual
It's not
discussion
a full
or?
council. There will be discussion, but it's not a full council meeting, so there's not going to be opportunity for public comment, if that's what you're asking.
Correct.
Correct, yeah, so it's going to, likely we haven't discussed the format, but likely it will be a presentation to council. And then I'm sure there's going to be a question and answer section for council to express any of their questions, concerns, or recommendations based on what they've heard from their constituents.
And I'm assuming that would lead to the council formally moving towards like an official public hearing and review of of a draft.
It's to prep them for when the final proposal comes out, so that we don't want to have to wait until the final proposal and public hearing to hear all of the councilors' concerns or objections. Because a lot of work is going into this, and we want to try to be as far ahead of any issues as we possibly can. With that, there still probably will be remaining questions when we get to the finish line, but we're trying to sift them out and trying to get as many members of the public to the table as possible. So with that, I please talk widely and openly about this effort. If you would spread it to your neighbors, friends, family, whoever, your thoughts. Not really, but you know what I know. And so I wouldn't say come to the council meeting necessarily, but we do have the public workshop following that meeting targeted for the 18th of June, which is a Tuesday versus, or we've been traditionally holding it on Wednesdays. And I did check my calendar. The proposed, the tentative date for the council update is the 15th of June. So it's an off Thursday, so it's a non-council. And we still do have all of the updates presented on My City of Plattsburgh. There's a project page for this project. It's called Smart Code Plattsburgh. And the last public workshop presentation is posted on there, as well as PAC meeting minutes or meeting notes, and just an overview of the entire project, how it originated, what plans it's drawing from, and all of the efforts that we've made to engage stakeholders at their control. So we're rounding out phase 3 of this process, and then Phase 4 is finalizing the proposals, and then the last phase will be hopefully moving forward for adoption. So we're getting into the real parts.
Good.
Any questions with that or anything else going on?
I just don't want it to go unrecognized that, we really appreciate the level of effort both by the chairman and staff in applications such as this. This was a very thoroughly thought out, complete application, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, if there's no further comment, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'm second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Short